Let's start with the presentation. So we have 3 groups today for presenting this poster session. We have group number 3. We have, group number 10, group number 6, and group number 5. Those are the groups that we have today. Right, Jorge?
Yes, Professor.
Are you ready, David?
Yes, Professor.
Okay, so let's start.
Okay.
Let's start with this presentation. Okay, before, while he's preparing everything, remember that this is kind of an evaluation co-evaluation. So it is expected that everybody here participates in the questions or in the comments, all right? So please pay attention.
Okay, so can you see clearly my screen?
Yes?
Yes, of course we can.
Okay, so we have followed the steps there were in the example. So this is how we designed our poster. So it is composed first by the abstract. So I don't know, Professor, do you want me to read what we had?
What did you prepare for presenting?
Well,
You didn't prepare, or you just did the poster and that's it? Or do you prepare something for presenting your project?
yeah, well, we don't need to read. We can explain it like naturally. But like the material that we just have is the poster, but we can explain the poster. Hello?
I didn't get it. So the poster is different from the project?
No, of course the project, the poster contains the project. So maybe I can explain like everything that we did in the poster.
I still don't get it.
Okay, so let me tell you what we did, and of course then you can say me of your.
Very good comment, Lucerica. She says, continue, papi. Okay. She says, I didn't.
Continuaré, papi. Okay, so this is all the poster that we have. The title that we assigned to this poster was Computer Assisted Instruction in Students of English Program of Universidad Sur Colombiana. So as I was saying, the poster is composed by the abstract. The objective of our research was to obtain the opinions and perception for the students of the ILT program about the different types of platforms, applications, and technological tools. That is like our main objective. And the second one is to identify clearly which applications are more useful. Of course, based on the opinion of the students of the English program. So, well, we put some images here, just like an example of what we are talking about. Like an image of Zoom, Meet, and etc. Of course, we put the clarification of some topics and some like definition of concepts that we consider really important to have clear in mind for those who are interested in this in to read this poster. And well, I'm not going to read it like in detail, but the things that we are taking into account in our research, first the technique, the teaching of the foreign language as our main purpose. First is to develop our research in an environment of second language of a second language program. So that is why we want to like focus these applications for a teaching of a foreign language. So this is the main purpose of our research, to know and to obtain perception opinions of that platform's application and blah blah blah. But all of course focused on the teaching of a foreign language. It's our purpose. We by a second hand we can like using them in in other programs, but our purpose is to know which applications we can apply easily and faster and more effective, but in the teaching of a second language. We've defined first applications and tools. um, we understand this concept like application and of applications as a tool of learning, like as something that the professor can use inside the classroom, um, of course related with technological resources. Um, of course, remote learning and second, the educational platforms. Last that we understood like some resources that are inside a base data on internet usually, that the professors and students can use and get access to them. Um, so George is going to explain what is our method and how do we pretend to get all what I have told you.
Okay, hello. Yeah, the method that we have selected is the survey research. And here what we want is collect their opinions, experiences, and a kind of rating of different applications, tools, and technological tools. And what we did was a questionnaire where we are supposed to quantify different variables, and with that result we pretend to have an answer. And also we prepared different questions, free questions or open questions, where students can tell us, students and professors can tell us their different perspective of any application and to comment it. And also with that information, we are going to expose the results and choose what is the final answer, and in order to get at the objective, that is to identify clearly which applications are more useful when we must perform a remote class with its respective activities. And that's what we want to collect that information and rate the applications with the students and professors of the ELT program, and have a final answer. And that's the method. And then we have the references. And that's it for now.
Okay, I would like to add something. I'm going to show like clearer the example of what George said. Of course, we wanted to get a qualitative and a quantitative answer. For that reason, we wanted to follow some quantitative steps. And here we've designed how would it be like the quantification of the variables. Of course, by quantification, we mean like dealing with numbers. So we thought that like working with numbers would give us like a more specific and more general answer, um, and will be more like accurate. So here we have an example of how we can do how we want to do the quantification. So here's an example. For example, they rate these conference platforms according with your experience with them. So we have Zoom, Google Meet, Skype, TeamViewer, and any meeting. The person that is in from this questionnaire and that is answering this questionnaire, not only not only we are taking the qualitative of what they think with the open questions, but also we want them to quantify how would it how would they rate them, how 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 much do they consider that those platforms are useful. So if a student thinks that it is really good, it would rate it like 5, or 4 or 3 if it is regular, 2 if he or she thinks that is bad, or 1 if he or she thinks that is really bad. With this, we are quantifying, we're turning qualitative information into quantitative. At the end, we can reach like that purpose, to say like, okay, Zoom has a qualification of 3 or 5 or 6 in general, taking into account all the qualification that we got from the students. That by the quantitative side, and the qualitative, of course, that we consider really important, is the open questions. Like here we have an example. Which technological tool do you often use to design your materials and develop your remote classes? With this method, with this procedure, we pretend to get the objectives that we have like set. So that's what we have so far. And of course, this is how we put the poster, how we did the poster.
Okay, right. Thank you very much. So I would like you to clarify a little bit the, no, don't stop sharing, please.
Okay.
I would like you to clarify the first point, the first objective. It says to obtain opinions and perceptions. And I would like you to know, you to explain, is it a research objective?
I consider that it is, because of what is next. Okay, so we want to obtain perceptions from the students. Well, it is. I think it is indispensable to obtain that information and
yeah, I agree with you. To obtain the information is mandatory, actually. But that's a research objective, or that's an activity?
Well, in order that in order to get, like, yes, I consider that it is an objective, because we want to know which application platforms and technological tools are the best. And I think that the opinion and the perception is more than a procedure. It's going to be a vital part of the final information. So that is what we want to do, actually, to know their opinions.
Okay.
I got what the professor said. I think that using the opinions and perceptions, we can know that application technological tools and platforms.
So what would it be the objective, the research objective?
Like the objective of this like in clear words, it's like to know those applications that are better for performance of a teaching a distant class.
Repeat, please.
So to know the best application platforms for the performance of an English class.
Okay, so it is not to obtain opinions and perceptions.
Right, you're right. That's an activity to get that information, to get at that objective.
Okay, thank you. Right. What are the variables that you are going to use in this paper or in this research? Which are the variables?
Okay. So we have obtained like there are like qualitative variables, and the quantitative variable. Of course, I think that we are working with both. But I think we'll focus more on the quantitative one.
And which are those variables?
Well, could be, for example, if we want, if we put, for example, the second chart that we have here as an example, the variable would be like the qualification. It can change depending on the perception of each student. So a qualitative variable would be if it is a 3, a 4, a 5.
So you mean that the variable is the level of perception?
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
Okay, you have to be clear about that. Okay.
Yes, Professor.
Okay, you have to conceptualize better the variables.
We have that on the paper, but not here.
I am not asking about this. Okay, I don't know if you are confused or that you misunderstood what you have to do, but the paper and the poster are the same thing. The poster is just the representation in brief of what you did in the paper. So that kind of things that you said as it is on the paper, but not here. So what is the point? I am not asking to copy everything there, but at least you might know, you have to know what you wrote and explain. You just have to explain and put there the things that you wanted to explain. Okay.
We try to show the most important
yes,
steps,
I know. That's the point. That's the point. But my point is that you may know, even if it is not there. All right?
Yes, Professor.
All right, guys. So thank you very much. Any comment, guys? So I am going to send the the co-evaluation. It is only for people who were listening, as we do that in POLT. So please answer, make your comments in there because the comment is going to be part of the feedback. In this case, it's going to be anonymous. It is not like in POLT, because in POLT I really care. And here I care also, but it is going to be, the results are going to be sent to each one of the groups. Okay, so try to be very clear about your points, what you think, what you can see in this project, and send it. If you have problems opening the file, let me know. Meanwhile, any question to this group? Any question? Group number 10. Okay. So we are going to continue with group number 6. So please, group number 6, prepare. In 5 minutes, we are going to start with you. I can open the link. Is it not possible to open the link? Oh, yes, people have answered. Daniela, try with this one. Ah, yes, David, please remember something important. When you say I pretend, es yo finjo, yo finjo. Pretend is fingir in English, okay? In English, we say I intend,
Okay,
all right?
Professor.
That's a false cognate. Pretend and intent are two different things.
Okay, okay, Professor. Clear.
Example, I pretend to be nice. And I intend to be just or to be fair. You see? You see the difference?
Yes, yes, Professor.
Okay, that's
Thank
it. Thank you. All right, group 6. Group number 6. Are you ready? You can share whenever you want.
So, afternoon, Professor Guys. I'm from my California, Mayra. Gutiérrez Calayara, and Mendoza.
Sorry, Jimena, are you talking?
Yeah, you can listen to me.
I don't know if it is only me, but I can listen very, very far. Can listen to you very, very far.
Me too.
Same, say Victoria. Yeah.
You can hear me better?
A little bit. Let's try it again.
Okay, now it's better.
Better. Go ahead.
So, good afternoon, guys and professor. I'm informed by Natalia, Polania, Mayra Gutierrez, Carla Yara, and Jimena Collazos. The name of our project is repercussions space of English in the different say that past English is gaining more strength as it's considered a universal language. Um, for that, several countries have adopted this language as their second language to make communication between countries easier. And Colombia belong to one of them. Okay, so our country has implemented English not only in the schools in the schools or also people create some institution, but also we have English in our careers. Okay, and so for that the people can be more prepared for today's work. So the government create different strategies to make learning and teaching English easier for children and adults. But some time ago, um, some institutions, for example, Education First, made a test that were conducted at Colombia.
Yeah,
As a,
Jimena.
tell me.
Yeah, people are complaining. I try to listen. Yes, I am trying to pay attention, but sometimes the noise, I mean, the voice makes a noise and it is kind of hard to listen, right? So could you please try to fix your,
So you can give me a minute?
yeah, yeah, we can give you a minute.
Okay, thank you.
So can you listen me? Is better? Maybe.
Much better.
Okay. Okay. I'm okay. I'm using my phone, so okay. Sorry for that. I will start again. I'm going to start again. So the name of our project is repercussions of the use of English in the different professional fields in the Universidad Subcolombiana. So as we know, English is gaining more strength and is considered a universally known language. So several countries have adopted this language as their second language to make communication between countries easier. So and Colombia is one of them. So our country has implemented English not only for schools or institutions, but also in the careers, so that the people can be more prepared for today's work. So the government, as I told you, the government create different strategies to make learning and teaching English easier for children and adults. But some time ago, some, I could say, institutions. So for example, we can say this one, Education First, create or conduct a test where Colombia is the one of the country, the third country with the low level of English. So this fact concern us a lot, not only because we are Colombian students, but because we are preparing to be future teachers, and we want to know what happened, not just in the schools with elementary schools or those things, if but in our environment, and like in a in the institution that we are currently in, that is Universidad Surcolombiana. So we want to like know the different experiences and repercussions that the mandatory English courses give to the students, not only in their personal life, but also in the application of English in the professional field. So our objective for this project is the first one, or the main one, is recognize the perspective that the students from different careers have regarding mandatory English courses. The second one is identify different skills that students acquire in the mandatory English courses to solve tasks focused on the area where English was needed. And the last one, know how the mandatory English courses have contributed to the development of the professional career. So now my partner will is going to explain you the next part.
Okay. Here in the theoretical framework, we choose bilingualism because the students of the Universidad Colombiana are learning English as a second language, and also taking into account that bilingualism is not only with the help of an individual, but also with the help of others. We want to know how has the student's experience been in the process of being bilingual.
Okay, we put English for general purposes because currently in Colombia, the teaching of English in educational institutions and in our university is focused on English for general purposes. English for general purposes is a way of teaching found in the graphic design by Hudson and Waters. That is the one that you can see down the square, where through a tree, they show the different ways of teaching another language, which every branches are like divisions designed whether the learner requires English for general studies or for work purposes. We put English for general purposes because I already mentioned the Universidad Colombiana is focused on this, because the teaching of this language is focused only in general aspects like structural and grammatical elements, usually dedicated to make students to pass an exam. Natalia?
Okay, so the methodology. We are going to collect stories. We are going to use the narrative method to collect this story. Our participants are going to belong to different faculties of Universidad Surcolombiana. We are going to interview to collect their experiences in the obligatory English courses they took. They must have completed those courses, and we are going to through the interview we are going to collect those perspectives and experiences, and we are going to identify what were their bad or good experiences and how those English courses help them in their field of study in each of the faculty they belong. And after that, after collecting that information, we are going to interpret that data and construct like a general view of it to make some conclusions. And that's it.
Okay, that's it. Any question related to this project? Okay, I want to ask something. Why did you decide to use narratives?
Because they can like be more open to talk about how they felt regarding the curses, and we well, as we want to know the repercussions, they are going to be, they're going to have that space to tell the stories, like their experiences.
Okay. Another question. What ethical considerations do you have or do you have for this research? Hello?
Yeah. Um, we, I don't remember the name, but we want like to protect the names of the students, and if they mentioned or named other people, we want to protect their names also, and yeah.
And yep. Okay. Right. Okay, guys. So do you have any question to this group? Any question to ask to this group? All right. So I'm sending right now the form to make the the co-evaluation of this group. So please fill in with the observations. Remember, as you did in the previous group, I think that you did it well. So say everything. And meanwhile, we are going to have the group number 5. They are going to prepare for doing this presentation as well. Start preparing. We are going to start at 2:50. In 3 minutes, we can start. Jimena, in your group, you are only 2 people?
No, Professor, we are 4.
Who is your group?
You said the previous group, right?
I am talking about the previous group. Yes.
Yes, Professor. We are 4. There is Jimena Collazos, Natalia Polania, Mayra Gutierrez, and me, Carla Yara.
Okay, great. And group number 5?
Here, Professor.
So it is Daira,
Yes.
who
Lucerica
else? Okay, Lucerica and
and Juliana Durango.
okay, you 3, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead, so you can start.
Okay, good afternoon, everybody. We are group number 5. As Dara said before, we are Monica Juliana Durango, Erika Garcia Narvaez, and Daira Alexandra Muñoz. And today we all designed this poster in order to present you in a brief way a little about our research problem. So we have 2 pages. In the first page, you can find the title and the topic, the research problematic, objectives, specific objective, and in the second page, you can find information about the methodology and the theoretical framework and some references. So as you can see, that our topic is the digital gap in education in pandemic times. On here, you can find a brief description in abstract or an abstract about it that actually says that due to the COVID-19 pandemic in Colombia, all social areas have been affected, and that it includes education. El Ministerio Nacional de Colombia ordered Colombian schools and educational institutions to continue classes with mediated technology. However, some notorious gaps have been identified for accessing classes with technological devices, which are some of the most highlighted barriers in the sector. So the research program is that certainly there are many individual scenarios in which students have had to assimilate this new normality. For instance, the emotional stability and disposition to receive classes, the internet access or technological tools such as computers or smartphones, which show us that not all students were affected in the same way. In that way, our intention with this project or with this research project or our general objective is to can you move on, Juliana? Our general objective is to explore the ELT explore ELT students' challenges for adapting to this new methodology mediated with technology during the lockdown of COVID-19. And now Juliana is going to explain you a little bit more about the specific objectives and the methodology.
Okay, good afternoon, class. Can you hear me very well? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. For specific objectives of our research, we have 2. One is to identify what kind of limitations the students have when accessing a class during the pandemic.
and two, to identify from students' stories the circumstance they live which affected their educational development. So, in the other hand, we have the methodology. So the methodology of our research project is narrative, because considering that the narrative approach is used to generate in a depth own personal view of any complex issue in real life context. We find it as the most accurate research method because it helps us as research as to understand and use narrative structures in order to reconstruct the story of our participants' research. As our research needs a thorough analysis of the data collection, we consider doing it through interviews. Since we want to know every detail about each participant experience, right? Also, the key to this type of qualitative research is the use of stories as data and more specifically first-person accounts of experience told in story form. And also we have our theoretical framework which is going to be explained by Alexandra. So,
Hi, can you hear me well?
yeah.
Yes, we can.
Okay, in this part, in the theoretical framework, we have that, as we already know, the current world is facing a pandemic due to a virus called COVID-19 or coronavirus that is transmitted by air with a high rate of contagion. It has forced the Colombian government to suspend face-to-face classes and to suggest migration toward virtual learning strategies. Of course, it has been presenting a challenge for institutions as well as a challenge for teachers, since a change in teaching and learning methodologies is necessary. According to the UNESCO, there are more than 1 billion students affected globally, which accounts for more than 60% of students' population and more than 15% of world's population. So that the issue of pedagogical innovation becomes urgent since it is required in a short time to adapt the methodologies used so far in remote education. And that is an education mediated with technological resources, remote education. Also, we need to take into account English language teaching because here we are talking not only about the development of English skills, but also how this second language is taught by teachers. In fact, the role of teachers is crucial here because they can be seen as potential influencers. And in that sense, they can either motivate or demotivate their students with their attitudes or their way of teaching. That is to say that teachers, at the moment of teaching, must establish dynamic alternatives to improve interaction with their students. And here is something that we have to have in mind, and that the use of technology went from being an option that we could either use or not in face-to-face sessions to being demanded in order to continue with the schooling. And finally, we have the references. And that's it.
Okay, thank you. So this study is also narrative, right?
Yes, Professor.
How many people are you going to have as participants? How many people do you plan to have?
6 and 2 from the first semester and other 2 from the middle, like 4 semester, and other 2 from the last semester of the English.
Seventh semester.
Okay, why did you decide to do that in that way?
Because we want to analyze the different aspects in all the program by so in order to choose the beginners in the middle and how the pandemic has affect even in the last semester. It's like a little muestra, something like that.
And because there are like some things that are important. In the fourth semester, we have the ILOUSCO test. And in the final course, we also have another exam. So it is important for that.
The ILOUSCO test too.
Yeah.
Okay, right. And do you think that with 2 people, you're going to show like a generality? I mean, with 2 people from each semester? Are you going to show a generality?
No, but
well, not exactly, but we have like a little muestra of how they can be, like the process of each level.
Okay, muestra is sample.
Sorry.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, but we cannot talk about sample in qualitative research, okay?
Okay.
The only research that admit samples is the first research that you listen today. That's the only the only research that admits sample. All right, so let me share them. This is group number 5. I'm going to share the link with this. I don't know if anybody has questions. That's a link for this evaluation. Ready? Okay, ready. No, your form, no, Daida. If it is your own, you cannot. It makes me, okay. I am worried when you say that you don't have comments or questions. Okay, Right. Guys, I have to tell you something. Next class.
Professor, I cannot hear you.
Sorry, was a mistake here. Next class we have group number 9, group 4, and group number 2. Right? 9, 4, and 2. But then I have an inconvenient. I cannot be here in the class on March the 10th. So we are going to move the presentations a little bit more, right? So the presentation of March the 10th is going to be on March the 15th. Groups number 2, 4, and 9, you are going to present March the 15th, right? And groups 1, group 3, group 7, and group 8, we are going to present, or you're going to present on March the 17th, meaning next week. All right? So we have March the 15th, group 2, group 4, and group 9, and March the 17th, groups 1, 3, 7, and 8. Is it clear?
Yes, Professor.
Okay, thank you very much. So as you could notice, the classes are going to be short. I expected to have a more, like a discussion from you about each one of the projects, but there is not many questions. So we have done it everything very, very fast. All right, so see you next class. If you have questions about your projects or something, let me know. Right? See you next class. That is going to be next Monday. Next Monday. This Wednesday, we are not going to have class.
Okay, teacher. Bye.
Okay, Professor.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Professor.
Bye-bye.
Professor,
Bye,
one
Professor.
question.
Thank you.
For the ones in principles, we have normal class.
All my classes are not normal, but yes, we have class.
Okay, thank you, Professor.
Yes, you're right.
Okay.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks, Professor.
Professor, I want to ask something.
What?
Regarding the posters, they need to be in the 70, 70% format, or they can be in another like template.
It doesn't matter.
Oh, okay, Professor.
No problem with that. Okay. Bye-bye. Bye. Daniela, you entered just to finish. Goodbye.